Welcome into the Ringverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. Jomi, the algorithm, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. Jomi is all ready for the World Cup. Is that like America stuff?
Yeah, man. USA, but only on the soccer field, though. That's it.
Nah, you into it. Old man Van Heel, the receiving resurgent hairline, coat baby Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Be right back after this. All right, follow us on socials at the Midnight Boys Pod on Insta and TikTok, at the Ringerverse on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Fellas, it's that time of year, man. House of the Dragon coming back. I need you guys to lock in. It's going to be a busy summer, okay? I need all of us to be on the top of our game, okay? Because it's going to be special. It's going to be huge, all right? Especially on the socials, so make sure you follow.
When you say you need us to lock in, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
I will be coming to you guys with a lot of ideas. I need you guys to be open-minded.
Okay.
I need you guys to be very, accepting.
You never actually give us like an opportunity to say no. You're just like, do this.
You just ask us to do more work.
Right.
You know what's funny? This is the funny thing about this is that all I hear from your ilk, your generation, your ilk, your generation, all I hear is, I want to get paid for stuff. I don't want to do work that I don't get paid for. No internships. Every time I learn a new skill, I should be paid for learning that new skill.
Right.
However, you guys, when it's in your interests, have no problem asking people to do extra work that doesn't benefit them in any way.
Whoa. Counterpoint, most of the work that Jomi has us doing does help promote the show. I just don't want to do it half the time.
It doesn't really help promote the show that much.
Let's calm down.
Let's not say that.
That's not true.
Why are you coming at his name?
That's not true.
What I would have to see is printouts that say performance on socials directly correlates to streams and views.
Okay,
and
so this is the Van Lathan performance review.
No. There's no performance review. What was said was that like us blowing up on socials directly helps the show.
It raises awareness.
Yeah.
It might.
It absolutely does. No. It
definitely does.
It definitely does.
I'm not saying it impacts.
Might.
All right.
No, it did.
You're telling me when the Arthur
there's a
Cliff
direct
went out,
correlation.
it
What are you
didn't
talking about?
help us
I'm
at all?
telling you guys that I've seen stuff, and in the comments, the people don't even know what the show is. I've seen stuff go viral. I mean, this has nothing to do with the Midnight Boys. This has to do with variety.
This is all podcasting, to be clear.
So,
right.
So, you know what? You know what clip is everywhere? What clip is everywhere? What clip is everywhere is the clip of me, the dick riding thing. Mm-hmm. Like, legitimately now, if somebody is dick riding, there's just a still
of
you
my
face doing the thing. I don't know that helps higher learning. I'm not so sure that it's real.
Helps you, though.
Social media told me that Spencer Pratt was going to be the mayor of Los Angeles. Didn't happen. So
okay,
it was good. So all I'm saying is I get what you guys are saying in theory. I'm not so sure in actuality that it's actually a thing.
Right. So that clip of you doing the dick riding thing, that's not an official clip that you guys put out.
Oh yeah.
That people have then like took it and cropped and shared on their own. Like that's going in group chats and stuff.
Of course.
It's basically a meme.
Point.
It's not even a show no more. It's basically
what I'm saying is we put it out there, the whole thing is my point. My point is
Jomi just got back from Sweden. He had himself some nice time with the milk.
Hey,
Can you let him relax?
Guys,
I gotta do
all
my
I'm
job.
saying is that
I went through
forward,
stuff like gotta do your job and do my
stuff
job.
is said, I will litigate it for its truth. Now continue to tell us why it's important that we help you with your job. Because I think that it is.
It is important.
Yeah.
Right? Again.
Because we love you. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Predicts. You can predict the summer soccer showcase action all the way to the final match with FanDuel Predicts. All you have to do is sign up to get your $25 bonus. From the opening game to the final whistle, stay locked in with every pass, every goal, and every moment that moves us closer to crowning a champion. Sign up for your $25 bonus on FanDuel Predicts. Go to FanDuel.com/predicts to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/predicts to get your $25 bonus. Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms. So House of the Dragon, Jomi. By the way, we just had a whole conversation on the obsession salary thing that you guys can look forward to in post credits. Republican van.
Old man van,
Old
Republican
man.
van.
I'm just trying to tell y'all how to. I'm just trying to tell y'all how to do it. If y'all could do it y'all way, do it y'all way.
Hey, we're practicing old man yells at cloud for disclosure. Day,
I'm telling. Okay, so go ahead. House of the Dragon. You got all kinds of ideas for us, and you want it to work. And
I need you guys to, again, be open minded. Just
Open-minded.
I don't need you to say yes all the time, but like 95% of the time.
And I would like to be paid for my labor. Thank you very much.
All right.
I would like to be paid. That's all I'm saying. No. Don't be halfway. Don't ask me to work for labor for free. I would like to be paid for my labor.
There's a problem with y'all generation. Y'all want it.
No. We're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringerverse. Also on Spotify. Program reminders. All right, next week, House of Art continues their Vampire Lestat deep dives. Fantastic first show. Lestat, a lot in there.
Yeah.
You like the Vampire Lestat?
I love the Vampire Lestat. Next week, the House of R, they also revisit The Dark Knight Rises with Eric Voss. What?
Wow.
Whoa.
Eric.
Shout out to Eric Voss. Has Eric Voss been on the Ringerverse before?
I don't think he has.
I don't think
Is this the fucking debut of Voss?
Yeah, man.
Of the Voss man on the fucking Ringerverse.
Remember
Have we
vlog?
seen this? Wow. Okay. I was like, all right, man. It's Macy's and Gimbals getting together a little bit right there. That's you guys don't even get that reference.
Nope.
You guys don't Macy's and Gimbals. You don't get that reference.
No.
Tough stuff. On today's show, the Midnight Boys react to the latest Steven Spielberg blockbuster, Disclosure Day.
That's what we're calling it.
That's what it says in the goddamn document.
I'm assuming it's a blockbuster. It's Steven Spielberg.
Didn't
If
bust
it's
any of
not,
my blocks.
No, but the block has to be busted for it to be a blockbuster.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
all
not-
What
right.
if you bust on the block? Is it a blockbuster?
I mean, by
that's
definition,
different
yeah.
movies.
What
that you
of
watch.
all movies, which movie in history was most likely having people bust on the block? Like they were waiting in line just busting.
Just busting on
Oh,
the block.
episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
That was probably the
Phantom Menace.
biggest buster. of
Really?
There's that
Matrix.
video of that dude getting in the
Actually,
theater,
no,
like kissing the
Matrix,
ground.
yeah.
But see, the Matrix didn't have people busting on the block as much because we didn't really know what the Matrix was. But it's either episode 1 or it might be Empire Strikes Back because
Ooh.
they was busting all over the block after Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. comes.
But
Okay.
it wouldn't be Return of the Jedi because it's like it leaves you on the cliffhanger.
Could be
You've
Return of the
been
Jedi,
waiting.
though.
You're like, damn, there's no way this.
And that's the thing. We don't have like the footage of people waiting outside of those theaters.
I was about to
dressing
say,
up with lightsabers.
Do we still
what?
have blockbusters?
we definitely for the
talking about
Road
for-
Rovers.
I meant for like Empire.
Yes,
Are you fucking out of your mind? Y'all don't know shit. Are you nuts? There's literally,
Oh.
there's like legitimately.
There's one video
This
that's
is-
my
hey,
favorite.
man.
It's the black dude
Hey.
who's like,
Hey.
excited
I
about
haven't
Darth
seen
Vader.
this.
Hey, I'm gonna be real with you. This is a Barry Gordy.
This is
Well,
this
no.
is
I
a
know
Barry
that it was
Gordy.
popular. I
This-
know that it was like
You
gangbusters.
act like
I know
there was
that.
not news cameras.
This is a Barry Gordy.
For Empire
Hey,
Strikes
hey,
Back?
No, I know
hey,
that.
Hey, when we cut this, put in all the footage and stuff like that.
You
Okay,
have to.
fine. I haven't seen the footage of that.
Yeah, this is a Barry Gordy. And I don't even take this. I love this. I love when
I know
y'all-
that it doesn't predate news
But this
cameras.
is-
I know
he's
that.
older than me. How have I seen this footage?
I haven't seen that. I've seen the
shit.
dude kiss the ground when he goes into episode 1. I know that. I know all that shit.
So that was, I will say maybe to what if you're talking about, I don't know how many costumes there might have been,
Right.
but
Phantom Menace, they were going crazy.
Phantom Menace, they were going crazy. But like for Empire Strikes Back and Jedi,
Sure.
it's like news cameras out there. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have to do? The black dude
The
talking
black
about
dude.
Darth
I haven't
Vader
seen
and the
this.
whole
I don't know
thing.
what you're
and
talking
yeah, they have.
It's a funny video.
It's fantastic. So nothing else. We can't think of it. What about were they busting the block on Lord of the Rings? Did they bust the block?
I would imagine
Maybe.
so.
I can't remember. I really don't remember.
We were going crazy
What
for
about,
Pirates of
honestly-
the Caribbean.
Was that one?
Yeah, that was a big franchise. I remember people
Nah,
going
but
crazy
what
for
they
that.
busted on the
I'm
block.
talking what they busting on the block for.
I know.
Yeah.
What
Wait, what about Endgame?
Oh, they might have been
Probably,
busting
yeah.
on
Well,
the
so
block
here's
for
my
Endgame.
question,
Hold on,
though,
I
like-
think they busted on the block for Endgame.
They were
So,
busting in the theater.
So here's my thing, though.
They
Like,
busted on the block. They busted in the theater.
Honestly,
they
with
busted
Cap,
after.
and
Cap
then
comes
when
with hammer.
Junior comes,
Yeah.
busted.
yeah,
They busted on the block.
Busted.
What else? What else, man?
I mean, if we're including like MCU movies and like superhero movies and all that stuff, I mean, Force Awakens,
they
they was
busted
busting on the
for
block for
spoilers.
Force Awakens.
Honestly, It wasn't before, but after The Dark Knight, I remember running to all my people like, gotta go see it.
They busted
That's
on
probably
the
the first
block.
time I went back that same weekend.
Yeah.
Like, we watching it again.
I
They was
think
busting on
I
it.
could make an argument that they busted on the block for The Dark Knight.
During The Dark Knight?
For The Dark Knight, the anticipation for The Dark Knight might have
Yeah.
almost
Because we
been busted on the
forget
block.
there was all the Joker like
Promo,
shit.
I remember
yeah.
that
Where-
promo where like the bat symbol was like breaking apart and you could
Yeah.
hear the Joker talking, and I was like, "This is gonna."
Are
be
we gonna
crazy.
bust on the block for the Odyssey, or it's not like that?
They busted all over the block. They busted on themselves. They busted on their friends and their
Barbie,
family.
we forgetting Barbie.
Oh,
They
Barbie
busted
was
on the
on
block.
the
yeah,
block.
Barbenheimer,
Barbie was-
They busted all over the block.
But that was the logic.
Obsession, to bring it back to the post credits, they busted on the block for
Well,
They
Obsession.
busted on the block now. They definitely are.
Barbenheimer was the first time we busted on the block in a long time.
Yeah.
yeah.
That restored the feeling, bro.
We busted, ate a sandwich, and then came back
Busted
and busted
again.
on the
Busted
block
again.
again. You know
Busted
what I'm
makes you
saying?
feel good.
Yeah, it busted. It does. I've been trying to tell people that. Okay. Now, that might be as much fun as we have for the entire podcast. All right. We are going to talk about Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day. We will spoil the movie, and it is a spoilable type movie, meaning, this is one to where you legitimately get some shit spoiled and it can ruin the movie for you. I want to make
Right.
sure that you guys know that before I throw this spoiler warning, because I'm not talking about like shit like Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad, which you should fucking know that you was spoiled. I hate that type of shit. But this one, really pay attention to the fact that we are about to spoil this movie that is
Go
full
in-
of
I would
secrets
go
and
in
twists and
clean.
turns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning, please. We're getting ready to talk about Disclosure Day. You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. All right, now we have to react. To begin our reactions, we once again bring you the Midnight Manifest, talking about all the need to know. Only person that can do that is Chuck Wagon. Chuck, take it away.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for Disclosure Day, directed by Steven Spielberg, written by David Koepp, from a story by Spielberg. The film stars Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo. Daniel Kellner is on the run from Vortex Corporation, a former cybersecurity specialist for the company. Kellner has an alien device and classified files that prove the existence of extraterrestrial life. As a private company, Vortex has been hoarding the information and using it for its own nefarious purposes. Vortex leader Noah Scanlon sends his private army after Kellner, but when local Kansas City meteorologist Margaret Fairchild speaks the alien dialect on live TV, the CEO becomes convinced he has to capture both parties. Backed by Hugo, a mysterious Vortex defector, Daniel and Margaret team up to disclose this information to the rest of the globe on the eve of World War III. Eventually, our duo learns that they were both abducted by aliens as children. Daniel was given the ability to understand the universal language, aka math. Margaret was given the ability to empathize and speak all languages. After some shenanigans with an alien MacGuffin, Margaret reveals aliens exist in the world as Hugo rolls out a wrinkly-ass alien in a wheelchair. That has been your Midnight Manifest for Disclosure Day. Now, Van, before we give our instant reactions to this, can we go into this with a measured conversation, maybe setting up how we felt about Disclosure Day? But because before I went into this movie, I did not know a bunch about it. A lot of people were saying either it's going to be a spiritual successor to Close Encounters, or it's like an actual sequel to Close Encounters. And in ways, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Well, meh.
In ways. But I will say, I did not realize, white folks of a certain age are definitely putting their thumb on the scale for this. They want Spielberg back. Like, heavy. Like, you could feel it in the room. I did not realize how many people were like, there's no way Spielberg could make a boring alien movie.
Yeah.
That's
So-
right. And he did.
So, hey, it's not
all right,
boring.
all right. It's not boring.
So, I get it. I understand it. And
This is what's happening with Nolan as well, where it's like there's some directors where it is like for them to have a good movie in the marketplace, it feels like all movies are being seen.
So if we talk about the movie itself, right, before we even get into reactions, if we talk about the movie itself, the movie itself is doing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
The movie itself is both a commentary on contemporary world politics and the sort of uneasy feeling that we have just generally with the state of the world from a geopolitical standpoint, because that's a backdrop of the movie. It's at least touching on that. The movie is talking about human compassion, what it means to be human. It's supposed to be a film that talks about the metaphysics of creation, so I say. It's like, whether or not an intelligent design could intelligently design more than Earth, because there's dogma that goes into where you believe that you come from if you believe that a creation is God. So did this God create everything? Does God create us? Does religion permit you to believe in extraterrestrial life, or does religion prohibit you from believing in extraterrestrial life? The movie is attempting to have all of these conversations about what we know, about what we don't know, about what we should know, how we should know it, the lengths people go to keep secrets, the trauma that people go through that makes them anti-humanist, non-human, all of that stuff. The problem is the movie doesn't commit to any of those one things directly and doesn't actually interrogate them in any meaningful way. So, like, when you have all of that together, think in the past, well, the reason why people love Spielberg movies so much is that Spielberg will give you this grand treatise on something by exploring the smallest and most delicate human connection.
It's an intimate story that tells you about something universal.
Yes.
What is Jurassic Park about? Jurassic Park is about protecting children from monsters of your own creation. And that is what life is about. Life is about protecting children from monsters of your own creation. How do you protect kids from the monster that is capitalism, from the monster that is exploitation, from the monster that is playing good? The dinosaurs in that movie just represent some man's misplaced wonder, and you have to protect kids from that. And then what are the lessons that you learn? You are in a dinosaur movie, but you're also in a dinosaur movie about trying to preserve the innocence of children. And you get all the thrills and all the feeling of we might not be able to get there, and the bad guys get spit in the face, and you have corporate espionage and all of that stuff. If you have to commit to that, though, in every single Spielberg movie, you commit to that. I'm typically hyper-verbose here, but even Indiana Jones and all of that stuff is keeping evil out of the hands of people that want to exploit it. Keeping beauty out of the evil people that want to exploit it, whether it be the Ark of the Covenant, the children that are being exploited in Temple of Doom, or the Holy Grail. And this movie, while it has all the trappings of a Spielberg movie, doesn't have any of the stuff in the middle that really made the movie special.
Even if you think about E.T., what makes E.T. so special is, like, it is a story about a child learning about mortality and letting go. There is the moment where E.T., you think he's dead. You get, like, the tragedy of, like, oh my God, this little alien that I've grown to love is dead. He comes back to life. But still, Elliot has to say goodbye to him. It's a child being like, a part of life is saying goodbye to things we love. It is a very intimate story that's telling us something broader, where, to your point, this with Disclosure Day, it is the story that Spielberg said is that basically he wrote this as like kind of like a scriptment, like 50 pages in like an iPad, notes over like a couple months, and he sent it to David Koepp. And I'm like, this is the notes app scrawlings of an 80-year-old man, for better and worse, where it is like, to your point, this is about fake news. This is about the, like, World War III breaking out. This is about religion. It is
legitimately like 40 some odd rewrites on the script.
Really?
Like
from Koepp?
No. He developed 42 different drafts. 42
Jesus.
different drafts. So and you can tell.
Yeah.
Like when you're actually in the movie, like, you can tell that we got to get this part of it in. To your point, we got to get this in. We got to do this.
It's E.T., but Close Encounters,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
War of the World. It is like,
but Catch Me If You Can.
And
Yeah.
that.
But kind of the terminal a little bit. And I think the excitement from the film was that this in some kind of way was going to be the culmination of the Spielbergian film experiment. That in some kind of way, it was going to be all of those things, but in this grand sort of crescendo. I'm not burying Steven Spielberg or anything like that.
No.
But like what I'm saying is that this was going to be something that with all of these movies that he's made before, he's also made films that veered from this. He's made movies that are smaller. He's made movies that are more direct. He made The Color Purple. So he's the greatest filmmaker probably of all time in terms of his ability to touch different people. Yeah. But in this one, there was so much in it that at the end, it was kind of barren. Like it didn't get there.
That's why I'm like, movie's not like totally boring. But to your point, it takes a lot of time like trying to do the things about religion, about family. And I'm just like, yo, there are people getting chased by the government.
But not the government.
But not the government.
Wardex,
right? Like not the government, but they work for the DOD, whatever. Like let's get back to that. Like that's like the interest. That's why I'm in the movie, right? Not to sit here and be like talking to nuns about like, hey man, what does it mean when aliens are also here? It's just like, I want to be nice. I want to be kind. People worked really hard on this movie. One of the worst scripts I feel like from a Spielberg movie I've ever seen.
And I wouldn't say the worst.
I didn't say the worst. One of.
Right. Sure.
It's like
Why do you feel that way?
It's just like retread after retread after retread. We have like the conversation at the beginning, right? With the nun and like on the phone with the nun and what's her name? Jane.
Yeah.
Right? And they're talking about like she talks to Josh O'Connor about like, hey man, if you release this, there are people who believe in a higher being, and if you find out that there are higher beings, like what does that mean for them? Are you sure you should do this? Right? And then she gets the thing, we have a whole bunch of movie, and then she talks on the phone with the nun, right? But they don't really like open up about that. And then at the end, she's like, great, let's release the files to the people. It's just like things that, like to your point, like they don't meaningfully pay off. They have conversations, they have beats, and they take up a lot of time, but at the end of the day, you don't emotionally feel like that character got there. Like, why is if Jane really felt that way, or if she needed to be convinced that Josh O'Connor's way was the right way, the movie would have done that. But the movie doesn't do that. At the end, she's there standing, holding his hand at the end while Victor Wembanyama comes out of the wheelchair. And we're like, great, cool, that was awesome. It all worked out. That doesn't really work.
I think that every single problem that I have with the movie runs back to the script, because there are a lot of great things in this movie that really do work, and I don't think it has anything to do with the performances, the direction, the music. John Williams never missing, but it's all about the script and how this story is executed, because everything that this story wants to take its time on, we don't necessarily care about, and anything that the movie cares to explain, it takes way too little time explaining it. And all of the earnestness, and the biggest problem that I ever have is with the ending of this movie, the earnestness that is carried out throughout this entire movie is completely unearned, in my opinion, and unresolved when it comes to how it ends. And the idealism with which Koepp and Spielberg present humanity, to me, in this time, feels completely naive and borderline disrespectful about what the reflection of the world that we live in right now.
I actually disagree.
You think so?
I think
I don't want to like harp on the ending until like we get there, but like I think the ending is a kind of a complete like
I think this is
dissemination
because Spielberg and Koepp are legends. I do think that this is intentional. When I was watching the movie, I think the things that we can laugh about is that we have modern movie brain, which is like, for example, when Emily Blunt comes to break Josh O'Connor out, and they're surrounded by all these soldiers, and she's so empathetic. She's just like, look, I'm going to be someone you lost. I'm going to read your mind, and that's going to get us out. My modern movie brain was like, this doesn't work. And there's so many points in the script where shit is just kind of happening. And I'm like, oh, this is like old Amblin movies where it's just like things would work out because we know we're in a movie, and I do not need to explain to you how this makes sense.
Give me an example of that. Give me an example of something where, because I'm not disagreeing with you that I had a problem with that, but give me an example of particularly an Amblin or Spielberg movie where something just works out, because it does, and there's no explanation.
No, so it's handled better, but we've had a joke about this, like in
Mhm.
E.T., when they're all hopping on the bikes to run away from like the cops. Like if you like look, you just those cops would catch those kids immediately.
Right.
But because you are so immersed in the world, it's a different time. We can make jokes in the bottom like, how the fuck would that even happen? But it's
You're
because
talking about when E.T. makes Elliot fly?
No,
when
they
I'm
just
saying,
initially
like,
run
all of
from
his
cops.
kids
Run
are
away.
like they all hop on the bikes and they're all running away trying to escape with E.T. It's something that is just like logically modern movie brain. That's something that someone would read the script and be like, they're not outrunning the cops. But and I think it works in that because it was a different time versus now with Disclosure Day. There's a bunch of shit that happens where you're just like, we're too cynical of a society for any of this to work out. A CEO isn't going to see their dead wife and then just be
stop.
like, let everybody go.
But I do think that would happen. So this is, I do think that, to your point, I actually kind of split between the two of you guys. Like, if somebody walked in here, like if my dad walked in here right now, I'm gonna lose it, right? So like I do understand that it just wasn't deployed in a
it wasn't
coherent way.
Not in
so
any
like
coherent way.
so if all of those people are right there and they're concentrated, right? It would be one thing if there was an escape and it was one person. It's the whole group of people. It's all of them.
Yep.
She's not doing it to all of them at the same time. She's doing it to them one at a time.
There's points where I'm like, shoot her.
It's like, but there are points where I'm like, shoot fucking him.
Yeah.
I think even what you're talking about, we all have the it's a movie part of it, right?
Mhm.
It's a movie. The Avengers, Stark invents time travel in about 5 or 10 minutes, something that had never occurred for him to do
Ever before.
which he could have, right? He could have.
He wasn't properly motivated.
Like, right? Maybe not, right?
Sure.
But it's a movie. In this film, though, particularly in a film made by filmmakers that have this type of expertise, what you expect is at least thematically in a scene for the stakes to be ratcheted up, and then there to be some actual thematic resolve to that. And they just don't seem to be able to do that. They seem to be able to, like, they're cobbling together a movie where shit happens. Like, he can use the thing to get into her brain.
The MacGuffin doesn't make sense.
And then at the same, even with that, right? I would have thought that entire time that she would have become this clear and present threat to him. Then she goes through something and she understands why she can break that type of tether that she has. It never happens. It's just kind of a thing that needs to exist to get the story from scene to scene, which is why, in that regard, it reminded me of the Super Mario Brothers movie a little bit.
Oh wow.
No, not. Just listen.
But yeah.
Like the Super Mario Brothers movie is not like you were looking at what was happening on the screen and that it wasn't fun. What you were saying was they just got to this plan and how fuck they just got out of it.
Yeah.
And like this Disclosure Day kind of does that throughout the entire film till it gets to an ending that you're supposed to be really moved by, but you're not quite sure that you are.
Exactly.
I was absolutely not moved by that ending at all. And I think that the main reason that is that problem is because I actually didn't realize the biggest problem the movie had until the ending, which is the entire premise of this movie is that if you think that the disclosure of this information is basically going to unravel all of society, you really need to illustrate clearly what type of society we're living in right now. And it's not really at all illustrated. It's just being talked about through different types of people very ineloquently and through ways that are entirely roundabout to what that ending is supposed to
So,
do.
Jomi, in the movie, we're supposed to be on the brink of World War III.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like they see it throughout the film. They're talking about we're at DEFCON 2. There's the guy from Korea talking about like,
I keep forgetting it's happening.
I forget it's happening at all times. I'm like, these people
people are making runs when Wyatt Russell and her at
There's
the
a run
gas
on the
station.
gas
There's
station.
run on the gas station, right? Like something is about to happen. Like Russia and the guy says we haven't been this close to nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Like it's bad, right? And after that, like that's they kind of like just sheeted in, but nobody like, we don't really
You never feel
tell
that.
it. Yeah, we don't feel it. Here's the thing about the aliens in the end. How do I, como se dice? There is alien. I feel like if they said, "Hey guys, we're not alone in the universe. Aliens exist," that's crazy. The movie also goes a step further, and it's like aliens exist. They've existed the whole time. Vortex are hiding it from us, and we've been mistreating the aliens in the basement of the government.
I laughed at that. I'll ask this: do the aliens look good? Because like when we first see the footage of them torturing the little alien,
and you going like this?
I was like,
you go like this.
I was laughing. I'm like, hey, yo, Spielberg, because he goes with, and I think this is a direct artistic choice. Spielberg decides to go with a very, very classic alien, small, big oval eyes,
gray
big
skin,
head, and it doesn't. It looks dumb. Like, it's
well, because it's
the classic look.
It's the Spielberg classic, Close Encounters. What do you call it? Crystal Skull. This movie, like it's got
that's the classic design.
No. Yeah, I get that.
E.T. didn't look like that.
True.
But and let me tell you something about E.T. It didn't really matter how he looked,
right?
Because when you saw E.T., like it didn't matter how he looked. E.T. was connecting with people.
Right.
The connection that you felt imperiled for him.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted the humans to lose. You wanted the children to win. Not putting kids in anything like that. I realize that that's a cheat code, but like E.T.'s look didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
In this film, we're talking about the look of the aliens, because by the time the aliens hit the screen, we're like, where am I supposed to be?
Right.
Am I supposed to like what is this, like what's supposed to happen here? What how am I supposed to feel towards the alien? Even the lady who is giving the news report at the end, as she becomes more and more moved, at a point that starts to get kind of corny. It starts to get a little bit like I just
want to see the aliens footage. I don't need to be described.
It starts to get like she is telling us exactly the emotion that we're supposed to feel.
Yes.
She's guiding us through
that
the
part
scene.
Was terrible.
Yeah, it was weird because of all the things that a Spielberg movie has ever been, it's never been technically poor. Meaning that like I've never seen one where it hasn't worked for me or whatever, but for whatever reason, but it's never been poor scene craft.
Yeah.
And a couple of times in this movie, there's like legitimately poor scene craft. Poor like this, like you're watching something and you're thinking that this is made by somebody who is not as good as Steven Spielberg. Now, don't get me wrong. When you go and you see the movie, the lens flares are there. The ridiculous crafting of
where he puts the
wonders,
camera, how it moves
the cat. Yeah. The motherfucker is the baddest motherfucker with shooting that type of shit that we've had, right?
Good set pieces.
Great set pieces. That, like all of that stuff is there. But in terms of like, we're in a scene, the scene has meaning, you feel something in it, you get out of it. There's not as much of that here as there should be.
Is there also the difficult obstacle of, as a society, do we still believe, do we still have the innocence where a lot of this movie and a lot of what Spielberg is interested in about aliens have to be something that we give a fuck about? And I think because we are in such a place where we've seen everything, we know everything, we have the internet. For Spielberg, the Roswell incident and aliens, it is something that fascinates him. The conspiracy, what are people hiding? How it would unite us? And in 2026, we just don't care. Right. And I think we can. I'm saying to the point.
Hold on. Honestly, I disagree. I think we do care. I think we're more obsessed with the disclosure of alien material than we've ever been. I think we believe in it more than we've ever been, than we ever have. I think that there's actual real world evidence to point to the fact that an actual disclosure day would be something that would be a gigantic incident right now. And what I'm saying is, I thought this movie would be not only commentary on that, but commentary on the stakes of it, on the reality of it, how it would happen, what it would mean, and all of that. And it's a more than it is anything else, it's a chase beat 'em up psychic movie. And because I it's interesting that you would bring that up. Like the Trump administration continues to hint at a large disclosure in order to obfuscate
Right.
from other things that it has going on, and it kind of works every time. There's kind of an actual narrative about truth and transparency and what it would mean. For a world like the world we live in right now, one of the most unifying things would be the existence of aliens.
But I also push back on that because we live in such a world right now where we can actively be lied to and people will believe it, and to where you can see somebody on the street dying and people will say it's not real. And to where an ending...
That's a separate issue. What I'm talking about
to where an ending where a news organization
hold on
is
for a
like...
second. Hold on. What I'm talking about is if the disclosure were real. So the AI thing and all of that stuff is fine. Whether or not we would actually believe it is fine. I'm talking about whether, because that is either you get a piece of video or in your face, either you believe it or you don't. So whether or not we would believe the disclosure is one thing. But if in fact the disclosure were real, which is what this movie, especially at the end, expects you to to wrap your mind around. So if that were to happen right now, we're living in a time right now where I think people are more pliable to the idea that aliens are actually real. They actually think that they might be real, and they want truth. So I don't think that so when I'm saying if we're talking about like then nothing is real. Then nothing matters. The votes, no votes matter. We will get everything.
But what I'm talking more so about is the cynicism of that. Because funny enough, like when we were having the debate when Joe was here about Denny or Nolan, I had never seen Arrival, so I watched Arrival, and I was just like, oh, these movies are a one-to-one thing. Where Arrival to me is a movie that is more so, to Steve's point, dealing with what is the world actually like and what would actually happen once we figure out aliens are there. It's not a cynical movie, but it does paint a picture of a world better that is like claustrophobic, doesn't trust anyone, like nationalism on the rise. Spielberg's version of this, it's created by a guy who still believes that enough people watch local news. And we know that they don't. And that's not, I'm a journalist. I love local news, but even it being a meteorologist and the whole thing being like, we're going to make an entire movie around people watching like Kansas City local news, as I'm like,
maybe
that's a little.
I feel like in a pre-COVID world, maybe in a post-COVID world where there was like a literal threat to us, and people were like, "Cool, we not really great. Like we don't believe in all this stuff, right?" If you said aliens exist, people are not gonna come together and be like, "Oh man, we got to unite for the aliens, man." They to unite.
At least not everyone is gonna do that.
There was a time like, "Hey, you got to wear a mask." Now we're not doing that. This COVID thing's fake. It's a hoax. If you show aliens, people are not gonna be like, actually, guys, we got to come together.
But that's what the movie would actually be. That's the question the movie would be asking. So listen, we're talking past each other. What I'm talking about right now is not necessarily whether people would unify over aliens. I'll give you guys that. That's fine. Whatever. People don't unify over anything, whatever. I'm talking about right now, the actual provable existence of extraterrestrial life would be a monumental event in human history. It just would. And whether or not it started on local news or whatever, things go viral from local news all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Local news weather ladies go viral. Okay, so things go viral from local news all the time. Right. The question is whether or not right now someone went, hey, this is bleep bloop blop from the planet whatever. He is an alien. This is the deal. That's a huge fucking deal, right? And it's a gigantic, earth-shattering, huge changing deal, right? It reorients the perspective on everything. It changes history. People will start to relitigate crop circles and Stonehenge and whatever other phenomenon. Whatever other phenomenon that they believe in. That would be a thing. There, of course, will be some people who believed in it and some people who didn't believe in it. My point about the movie is that the movie is not concerned really in any real way with the ramifications of that. The movie is concerned with a struggle between the people who want to make this truth known and the people who don't.
Right.
That's what the movie is about.
And it's crazy to me that the villain's entire motivation around keeping that truth hidden is the complete reasoning behind, like, to know that he was in fact proven entirely wrong is the point of what the villain is trying to do. But the mere fact that none of that cynicism is actually reflected, like, it's as if he doesn't exist properly in that world where everybody else is wrong around him and he just happens to be the one that's right. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
It's the fact that Colin Firth knows that this will unravel society, and by no other reason other than he lost his wife and became cynical was he wrong.
Well, Colin Firth doesn't believe in the humanity of the aliens. The difference between Colin Firth and
Josh O'Connor
and Emily Blunt to a lesser degree, because she's
no empathy,
kind of a passenger, and Coleman Domingo, is that Coleman Domingo is still open to the bounty of connection to the degree that he's allowed himself to connect with these aliens and believes them to be more than what they are. Colin Firth has experienced this great trauma and tragedy in his life, and that's hardened him. And so he doesn't even want to have the conversation about whether or not what he's doing is wrong. He's in pain. And because he's in pain, he's taking it out on probably the aliens, but more the idea that we should be in community with them, which is kind of what organizations like that do. Like organizations that are involved in defense or they want you to kill people, they always give you a reason why you should kill people. And that reason oftentimes has to do with your experience, what you've been through, or sometimes they substitute some honor code or a way of life or some belief in domination of another culture. So that's kind of the buy-in that you have to get to, like, pick up a gun and go shoot somebody in the head on behalf of somebody else. You have to believe that there's something that's bigger than you that's asking you to do it, or they have to be able to hone in on the thing that's encumbering you to make you to militarize you in that way. And that had happened to him, and we don't find out until we realize that he lost his wife. Like, what the question is, the aliens got cool songs and like nice tricks. Why you ain't down with it? Why ain't they sending fucking animals to talk to you? Why don't the animals work on you? Because you're upset, because your wife has died, and because all of that stuff. Other than that, we get nothing from that guy now. We don't get the fact that there's anything in it for him, right? We don't get that he's up $500 million.
Right.
We don't get that he wants to become the Secretary of Defense himself. The character is wound up and goes, and we don't really know why. And he's doing really heinous shit. And there's really no explanation for it other than them's the way things are.
Yeah.
We don't get any real explanation as to why Coleman Domingo is such a great guy. Like, other than
he saw the video,
he saw the video of the alien being tortured. Okay, like what's the deal? And the reason why those questions kind of don't get asked is because the movie is there's too much going on.
Yeah, it needs to keep going.
I feel like I like this movie more than y'all, but to me, if we take like He-Man and Disclosure Day, to me they both have a nostalgia problem where He-Man is a movie that is trading on nostalgia for something that you have seen, whether it is the show or the toys or memes. And it is like, we are going to put this on the screen, and the warm feeling that you're going to feel is like, ooh, this is familiar. This is like familiar in a way that I can contextualize. What I did like about Disclosure Day is it's using the nostalgia of Spielberg to be like, this is how I feel about religion and news and aliens as late 70s, 80s, 80-year-old man. And it does not always work. But I do think we're being harsh because I'm like, there's some fascinating shit in this. Where I'm just like, this says so much about Spielberg at this stage in his life, and not only what he thinks is important, but the questions that he's answering. And I'm just like, I would rather this type of messy movie.
Well, look, obviously I disagree. And I'll give you two reasons why. I would actually say, well, let me come back to that. So obviously a movie based on a toy is going to be a nostalgia play. Obviously it is. obviously a movie based on a toy. Anytime they make a movie out of something that you loved as a kid, all they really need to do in that movie is give you enough of a story for you to really come to terms with the fact that you went into that movie to be back in 1985 again. Now, hopefully you get filmmakers like Greta Gerwig who do incredibly fascinating, new, and daring things with those stories so that they're not just like harvesting your Saturday morning or your Wednesday afternoon. You want people to be more. But I think that this is different. I think that this is different because I don't really feel like there's a huge nostalgia situation in this. The nostalgia situation would have been if they'd have brought Richard Dreyfuss back or if the fucking alien walks out and it's E.T., right? Like that would have been the nostalgia play. This movie is actually doing something different. It's a loyalty play. It's assuming that the town is so loyal to Steven Spielberg that they won't be honest about this. and I'm being for real here. Look, I come into this on these podcasts, all these podcasts on the Ringer Podcast Network, and I let you guys know something, and I'll say it again. A lot of this stuff that we cover when it's like this, I'm in the bag for it. I'm in the bag for He-Man. You got to make a really bad movie out of that shit for me not to like it, because that stuff meant so much to me when I was a kid and when my brain was forming. It was an escape out of a hellish place, which is what Baton Rouge was at times. Like sometimes you would go to visit your uncle in Angola and then you would leave Angola and you didn't want to be in Baton Rouge anymore. Like you wanted to be in Eternia. You're like, what the fuck is going on? That still weighs on me even now. There's a lot of stuff in there. I don't apologize for any of it. But what I don't do is lie. What I say is, I liked this, but it wasn't very good. You might not like it. Like, I liked this, but I can tell you right now, this might not be for you. I'm in the bag for this. But if I go to see it and it's bad, I don't lie. My taste might be bad, but I'm not cynical in the fact that I go see something and because of fealty or allegiance to a director or a filmmaker, pretend like it's good when it's not. This is not a very good movie.
Well, here's the thing, I don't disagree with you.
And so, like, for me, what I'm saying is, I think that I actually applaud the fact that Spielberg, to me, didn't rely very much on nostalgia. He didn't try to make this the spiritual successor to, he didn't do any of the things that they tried to make a new, fresh movie with this heady exploration of all of these topics. They went for it and they missed.
But here, the reason I disagree is like something to me that doesn't work about the movie, but I was watching and I'm like, I'm still fascinated, is like the animals, the fucking cardinal and the fox, and them, all of these animals kind of like communicating with these kids and the kids being brought up into the ship. I was just like, oh, this is kind of like, well, what if we showed Elliot going up into the ship with E.T.? Where it's like, this is, and that's why I didn't like it in this film, because I'm just like.
You didn't like the animals, or you did like the animals?
I did not. I thought it was like, well, they looked ugly.
Yeah.
I was like, but it's interesting. And I'm like.
Yes, it was.
Sure. But my problem with it more so was I'm like, well, the minute you take these kids, the great thing about E.T. is like, you're taking something that's so fantastical and you're putting it in our world and you're never giving us too much of it. You're never explaining too much about the aliens. Because once you start explaining too much, I'm just like, all right, I'm out. With Disclosure Day, I feel like, oh, you're showing me way too much. And like watching these two little kids hold hands as these aliens put shit in them or whatever, I'm like, this is a fucking different fucking movie. Yeah. This feels like a different thing than what I've just been
tethered to something.
And it's still the least important part of the movie. Like the disclosure of the aliens and the dissemination of getting that information to the right place is the actual like real point. But the inclusion of Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt's characters of being these like superpowered like vessels of knowledge that are the only ones that can disclose this information is very muddled and like clunky.
The more I learned about their backstory, about like, because there's this big mystery of like what happened to us as children, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Because like the reveal is, okay, you got beamed up and they gave you superpowers is not interesting to me. The actual interesting stuff that I think we could both agree on is like, yeah, what the fuck would happen during disclosure day? How do people feel? And it's like he's more interested in the thematic elements than he is of just like the plot going forward of like what does it feel like to be in this world and how are our heroes going to survive?
Right. I mean, like there are things that Jomi, go ahead. You haven't yeah. Like there's stuff. So with I don't know, man. It's like it's just the shit's just kind of whack. I'm really trying to. The movie is really well made, but of all the things that we've talked about, right? There's a phenomenal sequence when there's a chase and there's a train scene, right?
Right. That and when they bust out of the house with the car.
The house scene, or those two scenes.
That was awesome.
My favorite, and this is why, like, to your point about like people being in the back, Spielberg, this is why he's the GOAT. The scene where they're in the warehouse and the house is invisible and like they're trying to escape and like
and they just run into the house.
They just run into the house and it's like really playful. The guy like falls on the door and it's invisible and then we see the door like he still got it. He still got it. So you're watching that scene, you're like, man, where has this been the last 40 minutes?
Right.
Like it's like to your point, the car, the chasing with the train. Because we coming through the house.
We spent 15 minutes with Wyatt Russell for no fucking reason. Because I mean, that's not a diss to Wyatt Russell. I fuck with Wyatt Russell.
He was funny.
He was funny.
But we, you know, we're trying to run over the fucking it's like all of this stuff. These conversations that we have about things in movies that are working, and I'm not trying to rip the movie to shreds because people are going to go see the movie and they're going to be like, hey, I have fun with the movie.
90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Once again, it's down to
all right, let me ask you, because I do
metric.
want you to get, before we got to get to Midnight Meter, what is your big issue when the town does this with Nolan, Spielberg, PTA? There's a certain type of director when it's like, when these things come out, because I see it too, where how I see it is I'm like, there are directors that almost get a pass where it is just like, because we have such a connection to them emotionally, it is very, very hard for us to be honest about the work. It is the same problem of just like, if you love Spider-Man,
you don't want it to be bad.
You don't want it to be bad. We do it on the show
all
all the time. Why does it bother you when it is a certain class of director?
All right, we're gonna get into this, and people are going to be pissed off. One, name the directors that happens for again.
Well, obviously, I agree. It is a white male director. It is a certain type of director that has always been at the center of Hollywood that we do this for. We do not do this for a black film.
Right.
Like Spike Lee does not get this.
Right. Spike Lee has made a million beautiful, incredibly crafted, very important films to me. But every time a fucking Spike Lee movie comes out, we judge it on the merits. Now, I don't have a problem with people loving their favorite directors. I mean, it's so weird that I've been put in this position and like
chairman of the board of this.
No. It's weird though. It's weird as if I wasn't raised on Punch Drunk Love or There Will Be Blood or Boogie Nights. I'm older. I had to sneak and go see these movies. Not sneak and go see it. Make a way to go see the fucking movies, right? When I like all of these fucking movies, when this shit came out, like these are the films that kind of raised me, and these are directors and the filmmakers that raised me. But particularly with kind of this really toxic, and it exists in all fandoms, and this is a fandom.
Yeah, Spielberg.
The film bro thing is a fandom.
Yeah.
That's a
Absolutely.
fandom. You are a Star Wars head. You are an MCU person. You are a comic book. That's a fandom, right? The question is whether or not it's a fandom that really loves the higher brow, artistic, beautiful shit.
Yeah.
And the rest of us like fucking just like drinking slop. My problem with it isn't necessarily that it's my problem is that number one, those people don't take responsibility for who they are. They don't say, we're just gonna eat what these directors give us and not be critical about it. They don't we have to, they don't. Number one. That's one problem.
They do point, it is because I feel this. It's like, hey, you're an idiot. You haven't done enough. You haven't watched enough movies. You can't say
or
shit
you just
about
don't
Spielberg.
get it.
We're right. We're always right. Y'all are fucking dunces.
And by the way, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they ride hard for their shit. I really do.
Sure.
I really do appreciate it. But the reality of it is, when I'll say it again, when I watch one of these, I go, hey, I liked this. These are the reasons why. Action figures, comic books, and my childhood. I don't come out and go, this is actually the best movie that's ever been made, and you're too stupid to get it.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, fuck you. Suck my dick, for real. Because that's not what's happening. What's happening is some of this shit is not quite as good as you say that it is. And also, so much oxygen gets taken up by those guys and the rules don't apply to them. Really, maybe they've earned that it kind of starts to become a tail wagging the dog type of situation. I don't like that. I don't like that type of privilege, choking conversation in anything.
Well, do you also think it's like Ryan Coogler is well on his way to being a legend? I'm not comparing him to Spielberg. I love Coogler. But I remember when Sinners came out. Why were Black people mad? You see Variety and all of these publications reporting on like, how much was it? Is it really a success? It goes on to blow up. Black director has to prove himself in the first whatever. And even then, it's still kind of like, well, it's not as successful. Meanwhile, if you look at how we are reporting on Disclosure Day, I would say the headlines are a little bit more, we're protecting.
Of course.
Right.
And I get it. It's Spielberg.
It's Spielberg.
It's Steven Spielberg. That's par for the course. Steven Spielberg has done so much for this town. Yeah. Like, Steven Spielberg is the inventor of the modern blockbuster.
Yes.
We all at the movies this summer. He's earned this.
Even if we don't use Coogler, I use Spike Lee. If we use Spike Lee, how we were talking about the Denzel movie, Highest to Lowest. Spike Lee does not, another movie legend, one of the greatest ever, does not get the protection.
Right.
Yeah. And by the way, maybe there's maybe Spielberg has earned something that Spike Lee has. Maybe you feel that way. That's fine.
I don't feel that way.
Like I'm what I'm essentially talking about right now, and people can go back and listen to any of the conversations that I've had on Sinners. When I've talked about Sinners, I've been like, hey, man, Sinners is not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's not. There are a lot of people out there that say Sinners is the best piece of Black cinema that's ever existed. I do not agree. I think it's a phenomenal movie. I really enjoyed Sinners. But every time I talked about it, hey, it's not a perfect movie. Sinners is From Dusk Till Dawn. Sinners is Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. Sinners is We're Locked in Here. The vampires are out there. There's also incredible cultural nuance in the movie, cultural exploitation in the movie. It's beautifully shot. It's like amazingly performed. All of that stuff. Yeah. The music is amazing. It's something that was made for me. So I like it more than you, and that's okay, right? So like what I'm trying to say is, it almost feels like sometimes I have to be honest about who I am to be taken seriously in this space, and they don't.
So, all right. So
there's a level of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
If you're the man, if you're in the bag for MCU and Star Wars stuff, you're gonna like that stuff.
I have to be able to.
So can we? If we had to make a list, and I'm not of the current directors where we're like, we can't be honest. Not that they're making bad movies, but when they make a movie, it is like, at least for the first month or two, is like, some people nobody's being honest about this. Who would be in there?
Spielberg. I mean, obviously Spielberg is in there. I mean,
would Nolan be in there?
Nah, because that nigga don't miss like that. I mean, y'all say
Nolan misses.
Y'all didn't like Tenet.
I love
Tenet.
I didn't like Tenet. I didn't like Tenet, but you know, can I be honest with you though? Tenet came out, and Tenet it was a divisive movie, and there was maybe because it was in the pandemic. Maybe it was a divisive movie, but people seemed okay with the conversation around it though.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like a lot of people were going like, oh my God, you didn't like Tenet, you don't fucking
A lot
understand.
of people I don't think saw it, because I remember
I just wanted to get back to the movies.
I went on vacation during the pandemic just to get out, and I remember being the only person in the theater and being like, damn, I don't have anybody to talk to Tenet, because I was like, most of my friends weren't.
Right.
We were all seeing it at different times. What other directors? You would put PTA.
I mean, PTA. But look, what people think that I didn't like one battle after another. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Is really not the case.
You're mad about the conversation around that.
Not even that. What I heard was like I talked to people whose opinions I really, really, and they were like, it's the best movie of the last 20 years. It's the best movie of this decade. It's the best. I'm like, guys, you can't even disagree with that. Like the master clears out one battle after another. There will be blood clears out one battle after another. To me, however, I understand what that one battle after another actually became and what this movie is and what all of this stuff is. This is a rebellion by highbrow film fans against movies that they don't enjoy taking over their space. And I get that. This is the people that say, hey, get that mumble rap out of here. This would like one battle after another winning the Best Picture and sweeping the Oscars. That's like right now for me, if Nas sold 10 million records. I would be like, shit, the real shit is back. Like the shit that actually has prestige and pushes this genre forward is back. Now you can say that, of course, you can say that is that or whatever.
Right.
But they felt like they were held hostage by people in capes for 10, 15 years.
Do you want the film bros to hold their L's? Because I will say, over on this side, we hold Eternals. Like some people love it or hate it, but I'm like, hey, we gotta hold that.
Hey, the real thing is, they busting our ass and they really never stopped. Okay, like if it's us, if it's the fan bros versus the film bros, we was never really up. It only felt like we was up, right? Because we was up in terms of the box office.
Yeah, but like they had the Oscars every
year. They had the
Yeah.
Oscars. It being up would have been like, and we put some fear in them sometimes, right? Black Panther put a little fear in them. We nominated for Best Picture. The Dark Knight put a little fear in them. But that was actually...
The film bros kind of co-opted that a little bit.
They did, because that was Christopher Nolan using us as a side bitch.
All right.
Dark Knight Rises was Christopher Nolan using us, using Batman to get to that next level. Because it was so smart of him, by the way. Like, let me give you an elevated take on Batman. I'll fuck Batman up.
Was it the ass moment where film history was all about the titties? Nolan is like, what about the ass?
What about the ass?
And we got decade, and now
fanboys are the ass men of cinema.
So,
I think so.
But Nolan never stopped doing his thing. Nolan went, here's the Prestige.
Here's a little Inception.
Here's an Interstellar.
Here's Interstellar. Like, and then, but he had grown his audience so much that now I gotta go see every Nolan movie.
Yeah.
I gotta go see every Nolan movie because this is the guy.
Dark Knight did that.
But when you look at the really important, like groundbreaking films of the 2010s, box office wise, sure, it's Endgame, it's superhero stuff, it's the MCU, but the movies that are really going to be like remembered and lauded have always been the more serious, more technical takes, and more prestigious filmmaking. But they felt like it was a threat that we weren't coming back to it. And then a lot of their faves, Anthony Hopkins had to jump in that shit. Benedict Cumberbatch had to jump in that shit.
We took all of your faves.
Like a lot of their faves had to get in.
And then Scorsese's just like, nah, this is just a amusement park ride.
They had to go put the cape on.
Yeah.
Now they stomping their feet, they winning. But we I tell you what, man, Spider-Man Brand New Day about to shit on this shit.
Hey,
on the Odyssey? Nah.
No,
man.
well, look.
Not on the Odyssey.
But you gotta think about it. Like Dune though. Like, does Dune belong to them or does Dune belong to us?
Dune belongs to us.
We should do a
Denny's been in the bag for us.
I think Dune is a Dark Knight
custody battle.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
I think Dune is a Dark Knight.
That's fair.
I think Dune is a Dark Knight.
Well, no, because Denis about to go to Bond now.
See, Denis know what Denis gonna do the same shit. And
so he's just like double bouncing on it and then going back
that's smart. I think Dune is a Dark Knight. Dune is I'm Denis. Look at all of this shit that I got going on. Because he tried to kind of...
Is Logan in this?
Logan is one of them ones.
Wow.
Logan is one of them ones.
But then Mangold did Indy, and then he also did the Dylan thing. So yeah, he's leaning on the prestige more now.
Yeah. So it's like, it's to me, I look at it and I get it. They don't want tight wearers to take over their shit.
Coogler in the Black Panther.
What?
Did he come take Black Panther, do the second one, and now he's doing Sinners?
Well, Ryan
because he had Creed before, so he was already kind of doing a little bit of the franchise. Like, we don't think of Creed so much as a franchise film because the first one was so good.
Yeah.
But it's like
they made 3 of them.
But even Sinners is genre.
Yeah.
It's like vampires and shit. Ryan know how to do it. Ryan has the Spielbergian brain.
Yeah.
That's also because all of the technical chops are there. And I'll say one other thing, and I'll just be honest, is that there's no one who is going to act like, and if you just take Sinners, that because they're selling us back our childhood and our nostalgia, that a lot of times in these movies that they put the exact same technical and story care into them that they do with films that just have to exist on story, right?
Right.
And exist on vision. If you watch something like, Honora, right? If you watch that movie can't fail itself. If the movie fails itself, then the movie fails.
Yep.
Right? So if by the end of that movie, you don't break a little bit when she gets to where the movie don't work. The movie don't work. They can't bail you out with a CGI fight. They can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can bail people out with a CGI fight, oftentimes you do. And like, that is something that if you're a fanboy type of deal, you have to, like, Phantom Menace gets saved by the Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gets saved. The movie is just not very watchable. It's not that great, but the Duel of the Fates is so Star Wars that the movie gets saved.
I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is a perfect example of just like, you have 3 Spider-Men from 3 different generations in one movie. You can't really fuck it up. But when you rewatch the movie, you're like, damn.
It's not very good.
It's not.
I mean, it's.
But hey, what a time that first time was.
When you rewatch the movie, that was a whole feeling. But when you rewatch it, it's not very good.
But when you see the 3 Spider-Men on the screen,
It's like,
you're like,
man.
fuck.
Right.
Remember my childhood?
And so, I get the whole thing. To round this off back to Disclosure Day, they made a movie. It's a miss, and that's okay.
You know who didn't miss, though?
Who?
Emily Blunt. We haven't talked about.
Let's get to it
She's
real
awesome.
quick. Before
She's
we get to it.
awesome.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. She's doing the polyglot thing. Like at first you're kind of like, what's going on? But as the movie goes and she's connecting with people either through language or like through like inhabiting somebody else, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is like really incredible like scene work by her. She was amazing in every scene with Josh O'Connor or Colin Firth or whoever it was, like her, like that one her through the newsroom when she first like
Talking to the
speaks
Korean
aliens,
guy and then walking back to the news desk.
to her coworkers and everything. It's just like she was magnificent throughout the whole film. We got to give her love.
Mm-hmm. And her dynamic with Riot Russell, which again, like seems meandering, but like they work together. Like that character of being like not exactly the shithead boyfriend, but like the guy who's just sticking around. Like
Russell shit, they could have cut that.
I'll tell you,
they could have cut it, but it's good.
I'll tell you what, man.
It doesn't
again,
serve the movie.
Spielberg, like again, he the man. He can do whatever he wants. I thought this was funny when they throw the phone out the car.
They're trying to crush the phone. That was funny.
And they gotta like go back and they like stop the movie to be like, wait.
But think
Go
about,
back. Like that's funny.
but
That's
think
fun.
about that scene, right? That scene doesn't make any sense.
No,
course
it
not.
doesn't serve
Of
the
course
movie
not.
at all.
No. What I mean is that like the feds are in the hospital, right?
behind them.
And the feds
They're
are
still in the parking lot.
The feds are in the hospital, and they have to get her, or she's gonna release the secrets of alien. Compare that.
Why are they
scene-
talking to the doctors?
Compare that scene to Neo escaping his office in the Matrix.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, Neo's escaping his office in the Matrix, and Agent Smith is there. We don't know exactly what Agent Smith is yet, but we know he bad.
Yeah.
We know he's bad if Neo gets caught. Neo, she basically is doing the same thing, right? The whole deal. At the end of it, when he is caught, you're like, God damn, what happens now?
Mhm.
She just leaves. She
doesn't jump out a window.
She just leaves. Like she walks through the thing, to the side thing. We see the lady, cut to them in the car. Where the fuck is the FBI? Are they still talking to the
Or the
people?
X-Men. No, they're in
Because
the
that's
bathroom.
fucking dumb. Like
I mean, it even happens in the hotel where old girl's like, yo, tie me up. You can't trust me. And I'm like, oh, Josh O'Connor, he got some smarts. He's like, he's throwing away anything that
Can ID the
that can
place.
ID them. Motherfucker, why are you holding some shit with the address?
But I kind
In your
of
hand while
like
you
that though,
sleeping,
because the
bro.
reveal of just like pushing the foot over to the like.
Also,
it's shot well.
but
it's
the whole
made
movie's
well.
shot
But it makes
It's made
no
well. It's
It
Steven
doesn't-
Spielberg.
Yeah.
I know
Of course
it's
made well.
but it's
Yeah.
so conflicting because those are inherently entertaining things.
We laughed at the theater when this happened. Remember when they're driving away from the cab or whatever, and they throw the car off the cliff, and then the other
God,
people come
that
back.
pissed me off.
And they're hiding
They're just
behind
hiding
the
They
rock.
go
behind the
and
rock.
watch.
They
Like,
right
what's going
there.
on, man? And I look back and like these people are these Wardex guys are a bunch of slapdicks.
But isn't that kind of
That's
like
stormtroopers.
isn't that
Yeah.
like
That is
like, that's
Amblin bad guy.
Amblin a different time where it was like, yeah, the stormtroopers could miss a bunch in A New Hope.
They're
And
just
we're just
bumbling
like,
idiots.
it's a different time, you're not thinking about it. But I'm like, in a modern movie, I'm like, dog, just turn around to the right. Like they
When he
literally,
crashes his
like,
car
they're
into the
like,
tree and they're like, get out of the car. I'm like, grab his ass.
I will say that I do get the stormtrooper thing, and that's a very good point. But normally though, when we up against some like special forces type niggas, you gotta be a little bit more wily. With
I mean,
them.
they let
Yeah.
an IT man run circles around him when
Yeah.
he stole the car, and he was like, I was just
I'm like, what is he doing?
He crashed like he's a Formula One driver.
It's like what's going on? By the way, they shoot the tire out of the car, and the car drives at high speed for another fucking 10 minutes. Whatever.
No flats. They got no flats.
Like, but maybe they do, because it is a government joint though.
It's true.
So like he also says in the first scene, he goes, and I'm not trying to nitpick the fuck out of the movie. He goes, he says they're tracking this car.
We got to get rid of it. Yeah.
You got to get rid of it. Yet they then do they not drive the car to the nunnery? They don't, because the
don't.
other
No,
guy
no, no.
picks
It's
them
the
up.
other car. They need to like
pull up in a
switch.
taxi.
They
Yeah.
pull up in a taxi. The other
Yeah.
guy picks them up. Anyway,
Good.
so I don't want to pick the movie apart because none of that stuff would have mattered, because that's just like whatever. I just didn't understand at times like what was happening. None of that stuff
But
would
that's
have
Hey,
mattered.
guys.
when you don't connect with the movie, you can do nothing but nitpick.
Hey guys, let's set a perimeter around the motel, but not the back of the motel.
Not the back of the motel.
Just the front.
Yeah.
Just the front.
And it's just, and you know, once again, there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of people, and I'm sure there are some people, let me not be an asshole, who went to Disclosure Day and they genuinely liked it. Actually,
course.
Craig
Horvath.
Shout out Craig.
Craig Horlbeck was fucking pissed at us when we came out of the movie.
Nah, honestly, I would be so real. Craig be shitting on superhero movies all the fucking time.
Damn.
Walked out of there,
Mm.
was just like, oh man, you're being too hard. This guy, I was like, Craig, don't lie. That was a quiet ass movie theater. We was walking out, it was like a funeral just happened. Like, come on.
Everyone's like, hey, what was the Nick? What were the Knicks doing?
Yeah, what was the end of the finals?
Man, fuck that Frenchie. Anyway.
Tough. Everybody hate on Wemby, man. I just see Jacoby did a whole thing. Sean don't like Wemby.
Shit,
What's wrong with
Jacoby
y'all,
went.
man?
Shout out to
Crazy.
Jacoby, man.
No, because here's the
God
thing.
damn.
Wemby, after this, I love Wemby, but he do be looking down on us. He be talking like about the New York Knicks like we just some Cro-Magnums. Like, fuck that. nigga.
Wow. It's because we're American. He a Frenchman. He don't like our sensibilities.
He's like, I'm wet to a botanical garden. I'm with the
Botanical
monks. I'm like,
garden?
fuck you, nigga. Anyway,
He
All
was drawing birds and shit.
yeah.
Playing chess in the park.
All right, 1 to 12, y'all know what it is. 1 worst, 11 to 12, true game changers. I'll start us off. I'm gonna give Disclosure Day a very, very strong 6.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh,
Huh.
interesting.
Okay. That skews what I thought I was feeling.
Nah, I was gonna give it a 5. I thought it would be like way off. I thought you was gonna give it like a 7 or something. Like
Yeah,
8.
yeah, okay.
No, here's the thing. I liked this movie more than y'all.
Yeah.
There's so much about this movie that does not work. Like, I
Okay.
can't be like
Wheeling out the alien was crazy.
Yeah.
Like Professor X.
We
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to have to meme the part where the old wrinkly alien stands up and he starts whispering.
Oh, yeah. Well, Caesar is home.
That was supposed to be like a really moving part of the movie, but like we didn't get any chance. We didn't get any time with the aliens, man. We didn't get any. They was birds. Anyway, I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
It's a 5 for me too. Yeah.
It's a 5 all around, man.
Yeah, 5's all around.
5 all around.
It's not gonna ruin your summer.
No.
Go,
Here's
go
the
have
thing.
some
Like,
fun.
you probably could do worse, and you certainly might have some fun. But man,
You might.
Programming reminders next week: House of R, the Vampire Lestat deep dive. Also, the Dark Knight Rises with Eric Voss. Eric Voss is on this bitch. That's crazy. Shout out to Big Boss Voss. Our producers are Aleya, Zenieris, Devon, Baroldi, Jomi, Adeniran, Jomi the Vault, Adeniran. Don't talk about shit on social. Hashtag Jomi the Sweden Demon. I don't know if you was beating a demon, unless it was something going on the tunnel. And additional production from Arjuna Ramgopowell. Chuck, take us out.
We're going through the tunnel of love. Spielberg still rocks. And all this summer, the Midnight Boys are busting on the block. Here's the
Right.
thing,
And I
if you
love you
don't
guys
speak
too.
up, you like, hey, they was killing homegirl from
Who?
Obsession, the art director.
Which one?
You didn't see that?
The
It
art
was-
director that got paid like $2,000.
No,
for
it
working
was
with
like
me?
$7,000, and everybody's like, you should just shut up. And then it came out like yesterday, like, we're paying all the creative bonuses.
Yeah, everybody
and I'm like,
get
hey,
bread, yeah.
sometimes it's
Great.
pay to like speak up.
Squeaky-
So this is
squeaky
what
wheel
I'll
gets the
say
grease.
about that. I think that it's glad that the good people won. I do think it's glad that the good people won. I will also say, if I'm being honest about that, I just tell everybody out there, if you guys want to go work on productions and be a part of a production and then come back and shit on the production after you've been a part of it, I'm telling you right now, I want you guys to see in a town this small how that works out for you.
Oh, you're gonna burn the bridge.
I'm not
not
saying,
mad at you,
I'm
though.
not saying, but there's a whole, this is a bigger conversation we can't have right now. I'm not asking anyone to be mistreated. I'm not asking anybody to do that. But I'm saying there's like a thing that happens amongst like people in the industry, younger people in the industry, where they go and they have a bad experience or something doesn't work out their way. And the first thing that they do is go run to Twitter or they go run to Instagram or they go run and they tell everybody how poor it was. That just scares the shit out of people. And it doesn't just scare the shit out of like the bad people that want to keep everybody under their thumb. It scares the shit out of people that go, what happens if I'm at Crafty and I say the wrong thing? What happens? It's just it's a deal.
To be fair, I think it was more so not that the person had a bad experience. It was just like, damn, I got paid $7,000. I was doing 5, 6, 7 different jobs. And like, it would be nice if all of the people who made the movie possible could reap some of the benefits. Now, the litigation of just like, oh, should she have done it? I'm not getting into that. I'm just like, hey, sometimes it does pay to speak
I'm not
up.
saying that she had a bad experience. I'm not saying that she's not right. I'm saying that for a lot of these situations, they're diminishing returns to doing things in that way. Hey,
They're gonna black. I'm not saying they're gonna blackball.
They're not gonna black. It's a shit art. Like they're not gonna blackball her. I mean, but like all I'm saying is this. I've said this before when we're talking about this. I'm glad you brought this up. Is I am desperately rooting for the world that y'all want, that everybody wants. I'm just saying you better change it quick. Like you gotta go fast. Because the reality of that situation is that there's so many things. You could make that movie could make no money, right? That movie could make no money. And then the money that they paid you could actually be this huge whatever. I'm just saying that like that's typically not been the way that it's been. And if the business model changes to where the studios have to like factor in bonuses for everyone based on the performance of the film, there's gonna be a downstream effect of that too. I'm not saying I'm against it. I actually would love it. It would be great. But
my last question on this, though, because you're in the industry way more than I am. If this is where the industry is going, though, where budgets for this type of movie, genre movie, horror movies are going to be in that $1 million, $750 range, does the business have to change where it's just like, oh, well, if we know that, like, obviously all of these indie movies are not going to do what fucking Obsession did.
yeah.
But if more of these movies get made, does that need to start being a factor of like, hey, how do all of these people behind the line have a livable wage?
Have a livable wage?
Or at least reap the benefits of like, because if we're being honest, if you're making a movie for $1 million, a lot of people are doing it for the love. It's like you're not getting paid in LA. If it's shooting in LA or New York, it's going to be minimum wage when you look at it at the end of the day. How could it not be when it's only
what an interesting question. So, you know, that's a fundamental change, and I actually would have to think about that more because that does change things, right? We make a movie for you make a movie for a low amount of money, like you make a movie for like I don't know, to less than $1 million, $750 million. The movie makes $100 million, $200 million. What used to be the return on your investment, what used to be that was that you were the art director on that movie.
Yeah.
And that was a feather in the cap of your career.
Mhm.
And then you said, hey, I was the art director on Obsession.
Yeah.
And then
Like
you
your real
worked-
payment is
for a
saying
long
that you
time.
can do that.
Really what's happened is, two, a conversation about a livable wage, right? Which is an important conversation. But another thing is just an intense amount of struggle for the average everyday working American.
Yeah.
In a economy where inflation is outpacing wage growth and where people are having trouble making ends meet. And in that economy and in that cultural situation, having someone that worked their ass off on this movie for, what was it?
I think she made like $7,000.
$7,000 for how long of a shoot?
I think the shoot was up like 20 plus days. Like it might have been like
a month.
Okay.
Yeah,
tops.
it was less than a month.
Right. So, for $7,000 for less than a month, and you come back and the movie makes like $300 million, you go, I should get a bonus on that. I say all of this to say that, like, in a different situation, she wouldn't have been thinking that way. In a different economic situation, maybe she's not thinking that way. Maybe things are less taxing. Maybe that $7,000 goes further. If she lives in Los Angeles, it doesn't go very far at all.
And that's where Obsession showed.
Right.
Especially if the industry is the way that it is now, as opposed to
Of course, but also in a situation where we don't have a cultural understanding of like what we should be sharing and all of that stuff, because the reality is all of those decisions are made before the film is done, right? So like, who gets a bonus off of a movie, or who gets points off of a movie, or who gets all of that stuff off of a movie, all of those decisions are made before, and everybody else is working on the film to ply their craft. I don't really have a great answer, but I do know that on how that should be. Besides the fact that I don't give a fuck if everybody gets a bonus, it doesn't affect me. But I will say this: what does, and I'll be the old nigga in the room. What does kind of pinprick me a little bit is inside of a production, like, I don't know. There always seem to be, on productions I've been on, productions I've had bigger parts on, smaller parts of, there always seem to be this sort of understanding of art and almost secret making that just doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
Like,
I think it's because if you are the art director on Obsession, I actually don't know if that is enough to make a career. Not because that person didn't do a good job, just because it's like less movies are being created. Like, it's like, yes, like you can say like, oh, I contribute to this movie, but it's like, hey, if it's not like the old days where it's like in Hollywood, it's like, oh, we have so many productions, you're hopping and hopping and hopping to the next one, which you hear a lot of these people, whether it's in lighting, whether it's in makeup or whatever, is like, I can go a year, 2 years without booking anything. Not because I'm not trying. I've been on Oscar-winning movies. It's just like,
kind of, I understand what you're saying, and I'm choosing my words, and I'm not being particularly eloquent because I don't want to make it seem like what you guys are saying is wrong. But I want you to think of somebody like Autumn, and I'm Autumn. I'm not trying to throw your name in this. I want you to think of somebody like Autumn. You're thinking about it in terms of like, you continue to work out there because you did Obsession.
yeah.
You also have to think about your creative team, like the team that you're with. So, like, if you're Autumn and you find yourself in a situation, now, by the way, that is an incredibly accomplished lady who shot for all kinds of people, right? But her working relationship with Ryan Coogler in this particular situation got her to a point to where, didn't get her to a point. It allowed her to take advantage of the fact that she gets to be, and she gets to help Ryan, and they get to a creative zenith on Sinners together.
Yep.
Like, they work on a movie, you do a good job. If you have a smart creative in that situation, we bring you back to do this movie again.
Instead of it a $1 million movie, now I'm bringing you on for a $50 million,
for a $50 million
$100
movie and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that the people behind Obsession won't do that. And I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the cohesion of a creative unit does get eroded by somebody going, hey, what a terrible time I had, or look how unfair this is. Because that's not the last time. There's gonna be shit that's gonna be unfair. Like, there's going to be stuff to where you're gonna work on a movie, and the people at the top of the movie, or sometimes the people at the bottom of the movie, are gonna get they're gonna come out ahead of you. And the question always for me is like, you look, if it leads to change and all of that stuff is cool, but man, that's a gamble.
Do you think that like leveraging equity now in response to not going with that gamble is going to be the thing that could possibly not like is like creatively at a deficit with what the industry is, but do you think that that's kind of what the industry's at odds with? It's like, okay, equity now, but you're actually not betting on what you can go on further down the line. Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I'm saying that what I'm saying is you can't bet on what's down the line, especially in an economy like this.
And that's why people would have that attitude.
Right.
Like,
and
pay
so
me now.
So I understand that.
But it's also, to wrap up, I think it's the thing we're talking about is like, we are talking about like lightning in a bottle. Most indie movies made for like $750 million are never going to be obsession. I'm not even talking about creatively, just what it's done. So it's like on most movies that you're filming at that place, people are going to walk away with no money because the movie made no money. And I'm not defending anybody in that. I'm just like, this is a special example of like, oh, we made a cultural moment. Who gets to share economically in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, look, the people this is we have this obviously for post credits, but we have the conversation between pragmatists and idealists. Idealists are almost always correct. Pragmatists, though, are almost always right. So, and those two things are different. Idealists are almost always correct in the way that they see something. But the pragmatist is always the one that's saying, hey, for all of you guys that think I could give you legitimately 10 other, if I wanted to get granular with this, I could give you examples of people that I've actually advocated for to get jobs. And people go, I don't want to work with them. And I don't want to work with them because I can't work with them because my ability, I can't promise that everything is going to go the way that they want it to go because it is a much, much bigger deal for a lot of people to have their reputation impugned. And that's not what's happening in this case than it is to actually have a successful product.
Right.
Like if someone puts out something and is successful, that's very meaningful. But if they get called an asshole, it affects people. Or if the promotion or the production or whatever gets called an asshole for a long time, they go, I would rather take somebody that's actually a little bit less talented, that I don't have to worry about the first time they're displeased running to it and telling all their followers about it. I would actually coach that person up or fucking do their job, frankly, than have somebody be a part of this and then have to worry about 5-6 months later, or in this particular case, when the narrative around the production is almost 100% positive, have somebody go, look how the rest of us got treated. Now, I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying that like that's kind of how it goes. And you have to, over the long term, you'd have to defeat that. And in this situation, they were able to, and let's just keep that momentum going. It wouldn't stop me from hiring anyone. Yeah, right. Just because you know it is what it is. It wouldn't stop me from hiring anyone or working with anyone. But I just know that legitimately I've been like, this person is the most talented writer that I know. Can we get? Nah, I don't want to. It's like, and then you got to look at them and be like, look, what happens if it goes wrong? If it goes wrong, now I'm a dickhead and the whole internet hates me and like whatever. But look, there should be some kind of structure that says like 1% bonus on this. The question,
and I think this was the gray area because this wasn't a union set.
Well, the question then becomes who gets that?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like who gets that? Like,
from what I've read, it was not a union set. They did not flip it. So it's like they don't have any. You don't really have any protection. You are like people said, "This is what you're getting paid. This is what you get paid," and it's like that.
That's it. That's that.
Right, that was a good post-credit discussion. Okay, come back to that.
Looking forward to House of the Dragon.